Polygon has had an exceptionally bullish pattern over the past year and a half, and we have a large 1-2-1-2 nested setup that can get us 6.5x returns very quickly. And here's the best part. We're actually in the buy zone right now, so you can catch this train before it leaves the station. When we look at the big picture pattern, there's a long, powerful impulse rally that took us from the low millions range all the way up into the $10+ billion range. When we take a closer look at the subwaves of this larger impulse, we notice that the extensions are exceptional. You don't typically have wave threes go past the 1.618 extension of the 1-2, but in this case, we exceeded the 2.0 extension, and our fifth wave went well past the 2.618 extension. So keep that in mind as we continue our analysis. Once we topped in what I'm calling the larger first wave with the Roman numeral 1, we had a strong pullback that fell in a classic ABC pattern. And by Elliott Wave standards, it's a very shallow retrace in that it didn't even get lower than the 23.6% retrace. But this is in logarithmic terms. In linear terms, in reality, we actually dropped 77% from our all-time high to the low for our larger wave 2 that we struck towards the end of July. Since that pullback, we've had a really good rally for a smaller subwave 1, and we are now pulling back in a subwave 2. Cool part about this is that while we were overbought at one point, this smaller wave 2 pullback has completely reset the MACD and the sentiment. This thing is like a coiled spring that's ready to take off really soon. And with that ensuing rally, we have some incredible extension potentials based on the historic wave structure of Polygon. And that's due to the fractal nature of Elliott waves, which has patterns repeating at different degrees of an Elliott wave structure. If you're enticed to buy, I'm going to look at the tactical picture here near term. This is our 1 hour view. And we take a look at the subwaves. This is almost textbook Elliott Wave Fibonacci Pinball here. We have a 1-2 marked in purple here, and our third wave hit right between the 1.32 and 1.618 targets, which is textbook standard. We fell back to about the 0.764 extension for the wave 4, and then our wave 5 for the larger wave 1 topped right around the 11.89 billion mark. It kind of sounds funny to say billion here. After that, we had a sharp pullback, and this is looking like a classic ABC zigzag pattern. We see the 3-wave pattern, and it looks like we're getting very close to being complete. Now, this purple box would have been the ideal retracement point for our wave 2. We slightly spiked below that, but I'm not too worried because the structure looks very good. Our MACD is diverging, a good counter rally since that bottom not too long ago. So I will put our invalidation point at the 5.8 billion mark, which is the 76.4% retrace. And if it breaks this level, expect similar pullbacks across most cryptos. So right now, I'm not expecting us to go that low. This is a fantastic buying opportunity. We just finished what I believe is the wave 2 here, and after the wave 2 comes the wave 3, which is the most powerful of all the Elliott waves. If we hold together and this rally starts to take off, our subwave 3 has us hitting 17.76 to 19.64 billion, and after a fourth wave consolidation, we're looking at a fifth wave top between 20.8 to 22.68 billion. These are linear projections on the short-term scale. Now here's where the excitement begins. When we look at the logarithmic chart, just as we had been looking before, we have a 1-2 setup here. We are presumably complete with our second wave. When we use a logarithmic Fibonacci extension projection, our larger wave 3 projects between 31.8 and 48.9 billion with a strong resistance overhead right around the 54 billion mark. So I have this purple box here just to show where we expect the wave 3 to land. And this wave 3 will give us our 6.5x returns, maybe even more than that, just from the third subwave alone. And of course, we'd have a fourth wave consolidation that may take several days or weeks. And then our fifth wave for the larger wave 1, the completion of this structure, projects us to 63.75 to 127.75 billion. And that would be a 16x return. Now I have a whole range here, which is also marked with a purple box. And you'll notice on the big picture extension patterns, there is resistance at the 122 billion mark. But again, there's even more excitement coming. There's a strong possibility that we may exceed some of our standard extension targets because again, Elliott waves are fractal and we may see a recreation of what we saw in the past in the future. So based on the fractal nature of Elliott waves, we could easily extend to 122 to 274 billion. Don't be surprised if we have a blow off. And that is backed up by the fact that we have a large resistance point at the 0.618 extension of the larger 1-2 pattern. Looking longer term, after we top in that wave 1, I expect this wave 1 to coincide with the major top that we're going to see in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a couple of the other major cryptocurrencies. After that point, expect a scary pullback that could eat away all of your profits. At that point, we may have a great buying opportunity that could start us up on a much larger third wave. And I have a projection here that is pointing into the trillions range, but I'm not going to go that high just yet. But just keep in mind that this isn't all we have. This is in the short to intermediate time frame. Long term, Polygon, along with several of the other cryptos that may have missed their standard large wave one targets, could have incredible rallies after a scary dip that would coincide with a broader cryptocurrency crash across the sector. So if you enjoyed, please subscribe. I will keep us updated on Polygon. I'd love to read your comments below. Until next time, thank you for watching. Happy trading.